Hi, hello, this is Moon Griffon. Great to have you back with us on the Moon Griffon podcast. Make sure you tell a friend. Love to have them come join the Moon Griffon podcast. Real simple. Go check us out. And Moon Griffon, you see it in the background. Really easy to spell. And please do, and we'd love for you to subscribe and get with it. Today, we got a couple topics to talk about. So a couple things. I've been working on this and talking about this for a while. And one of them is, I had a buddy of mine that said, don't call Democrats anymore. Call them what they are. I said, call them socialists. And I think they're Marxists myself. And I've always called them the party of filth and the party of hate. And somebody could say, well, Moon, that's not fair. Republicans, look, I get as mad at them as I do the Democrats. But this Democrat party is not the old John F. Kennedy party. People are voting like this party is just a little different than the Republicans. And by the way, I'm not here to promote the Republican Party because God knows I can get mad at them. But if you take the time and read history and you take the time to look at what's going on in other countries and you see what caused the failure of total countries, total collapse, you got to say the Democrat Party now, with the help of the media, of course, is really a Marxist socialist party now. It's not the Democrat Party of old. It's not your grandfathers. It might not even be your daddies. It's not even the party of Bill Clinton. It's not. It's the party of Barack Obama and Joe Biden. And as Barack Obama said, we want to transform America to something it was never meant to be. We're going to transform America into what? Well, if you're the freest country in the world and you can't get any freer, you got to look at what they're doing. And everything they're doing right now is I call it tribe thinking. In other words, we say this, you do it, and don't ask questions. And so I started looking, just taking several issues that we deal with every day. Crime. Where are they at on crime right now? Well, the get rid of the police movement was all part of the socialist Black Lives Matter movement to get rid of police. Now, think about that. You get rid of people that are coming to your defense when something's going wrong. Hell, it's a shame we got to have police. That just shows you how immoral that we've gotten to. And that's why you freak out when you see get rid of police. Who's the first person you're going to call if somebody breaks in your home? It's the police. Who's the first person you're going to call if you get in trouble? The police. But every movement they did and every movement they're going for seems to be, to me, anti-American. That's one of them. That's the big one. We have the biggest crime problem now in the United States of America that we've ever had in the history of our country. Ever. And we're talking about getting rid of police. Now, that's kind of sick. Now, years ago, Barack Obama said we needed a military police force just as strong as the military inside the United States of America. And you know what I see now? There are people hollering, you know what? We need a different police force. We need some federal forces to come in here and take care of stuff. Let me tell you, President Obama, this is what he wants. This is also the brown shirts of Germany. This is what's happened in every country that's ever failed. Let's look at the border. Another great example, okay? Trump's job, he wanted to stop illegals from coming in and having their way. It was never about stopping immigrants coming over here legally. It was just to stop illegals. Why? Drugs, fentanyl. The other day, right here in my home area in Lafayette, Louisiana, they had a fentanyl bus. They had enough fentanyl to kill every person in Lafayette Parish. That's one or two people got busted, and that's only a little bitty place like Lafayette, Louisiana. See, when you open the borders, we don't know what's coming across. And I don't mean that ugly. And if they say it's racist and all that, it's nothing to do with that. You have to have a border that looks like America. Black, white, brown. I get that. But you have to have a border that protects what we love here in the United States of America. We want people to come. We want people to come in our country, but not the way they're coming. The Biden administration and the Marxist Democrats have opened a border, and they don't care. Because you see, it ain't their kids dying of fentanyl. It ain't their kids getting raped. It ain't their kids and family members getting killed. We see it every day. There was a story in the last couple of days happened in Texas. One of the illegals walked in a place and shot some people, killed 5 people. That person had been caught and sent out of this country, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Well, you say, well, how do they keep coming back? Because when you got open border policy and you don't know who's coming in and out of the borders, you have no idea what's happening to your country. We've heard about the drugs. We've heard about the killings. We hear about rapes. We hear about sexual, using young kids for sexual beings. This is what's going on at the border by just opening it up. People are being killed trying to get over here now. By the way, they're not coming over here because of climate change. They're coming over here for the Democrat Party has decided we're going to open the borders, let everybody come. I know it's a vote-getting deal, but the bottom line is the borders open are hurting the United States of America. They're crushing us right now. Why would a party, quote, the Democrat Party, allow for crime, allow for the borders being open? I don't know about y'all. I don't think many of the people that are making these decisions for the United States of America have many family members at the border. They don't have many friends at the border. So somebody always goes, I wonder what they're doing. Well, you can book, there's money involved. You can just write it down. But the thing that saddens me, that makes me so mad, is the people that are getting hurt at the border are people that are just trying to live their lives. They have land, okay? When they built whatever they built in the United States of America, they were not thinking, well, I'm going to have to fight for everything I got because some president and some party's going to come along and allow everybody to walk across the border and do whatever they want to do. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. They are totally allowing people to come across and hurt this country. Now, if you don't believe that, because the media, when Trump was around, they'd go show the border. Trump was trying to, whether you like President Trump or not, he was trying to build a border wall to protect his own people. That was it. Matter of fact, why do you think people put a fence around their homes? Okay? You may say, well, they don't want to be associated with nobody. They want to be away from everybody. It's not true. If I put a fence up at my house, it's not to keep people out. It's to protect my loved ones. That's what a fence goes up for. A fence goes up to protect your family. When you put a security system in your house, security system in your business, what do? You're doing that to protect your assets, the things you love, the things you need to do. It's not to keep people out. It's to protect what's in. We have a legal way to come in this country, and people are not doing it. Look at the crime. Look at what they're doing at the border. Look what they're doing to the economy. Oh, so listen to me. Our country is never going to be built on how much debt we can run up. Everybody has felt the impact of inflation. That's real simple. It's when we print money, we sell our debt, and we print money, okay, and things start skyrocketing. When did we ever have a country that all we going to do when it comes to money is print it and give it out? And we're going to call that, boy, look at us, we prosper. Folks, when that explodes, I'm only 61 years old. When that explodes, that's going to be devastating. I've never lived in a depression. I have lived through some tough recessions, and you have too, but I've never lived through a depression in my entire life. Go read about the Great Depression. Go read about 25, 30% unemployment rate, and probably was a lot higher than that because we didn't have a good census count. Go read about what people had to do when you have to work all day, hopefully to eat maybe sometimes that day. You don't want to live through that. You don't. And the problem is, if the left is going to keep, they're right now negotiating, quote, over the debt ceiling. So what they want to do is keep raising the debt ceiling and spending more. Biden's last budget, President Biden's last budget, will put us in a $51 trillion debt. Now, folks, let's be blunt. I wouldn't know what $1 trillion looked like if it hit me in the face. You wouldn't either. When you start talking about billions, you remove some people. $1 trillion, $51 trillion worth of debt. And they said the budget they had, it would be worse, but they cut this and cut that. Folks, when a budget grows that much, about 17, 18 trillion, there's no cutting. Let me tell you, you want to run this country? The borders and the debt is all you need to look at, and not to mention crime. Those two things right there can bring this country, it can bring a company down to. Try it at home if you don't believe me. It bring the country down to its knees. I tell people all the time, you ought to try it. Just go live like you want to live. Borrow money for everything. Go get you 2-3 houses. Go get you 6 cars, a couple bass boats. Go do that. And when the day comes that you can't pay the bill, is the day they start taking stuff away from you. When the day comes, we can't pay our bills because we're running up debt. Okay? We're done. Now, Chucky Schumer, Senator Schumer, Senate President, I've never seen the man smile in my life. I never think he smiled. I think he wears an extra small thong. I really do, and it's tightened up. He's never smiled in his life. They're blaming Republicans for not going along with Biden and Schumer. They're blaming them for not going on to spend more money. Now, folks, if you look at, go talk to your banker. Just go sit down with a banker and say, hey, if I take money, okay, and I keep just spending money, what's that going to lead to? You can do this at home. People that vote Democrat Party are voting blindly. This is not the old Democrat Party. These people, this stuff is on purpose. None of this is by accident. You really think they're running up debt by accident? How do you run up debt by accident? If I choose not to go borrow any money or not to have a credit card, that's my choice. But if I choose to go get 4 or 5 credit cards and keep spending it, I made a bad choice. Wait till this thing blows up. Oh, it's going to be the Republicans' fault, because it always is. But it's really the Democrats in this case. They're running the country into the ground, and I believe it's on purpose, because I don't think it's the old Democrat Party. I think it's the new Democrat Party. It's the AOC-type Democrat Party. It's the Bernie Sanders Democrat Party. It's that party that says, I don't care what you do, we can blow this thing up. And they're planning on blowing it up. And the way they're going to blow it up is the border and debt. Those are the 2 things. And the other thing is they want to control everything. You notice? They want Medicare for all, which is about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know who's going to, if they ever get to Medicare for all, Obamacare is supposed to go to single payer system. That's where they're going with this. But if you ever get to Medicare at all, who is Medicare for? Medicare is for people at 65 and older for the most part. But if you go Medicare for all, here's how it works. Single payer system, ration care, all these other countries with single payer system are losing their rear ends. They can't afford it. And they go to ration care. So now we go and say, well, I need something with my heart. Well, it's November. We can't really get to you for 6 months. That's what they're doing in Canada. That's what they're doing in Europe. So what they do, they go to a ration care system. Who do you think is going to be hurt if you can't help them? I'll tell you who it's going to be. It's going to be our elder citizens, 65 plus. So pretty soon they're in line with the 15-year-old and the 18-year-old and the 25-year-old fighting for services. Medicare is for older people. Medicare is for people that are 65 plus. So if you turn to Medicare, what does that do for you? I'll tell you what it does. It destroys the system. Same thing with Medicaid. We put so many people on Medicaid with Obamacare. It's government paying for health care. And let me tell you, we ought to not be putting people on Medicaid anymore, except for people that really need it. Really, you know what compassion would look like? You would be weaning people off of Medicaid because they're getting good jobs and the private sector is taking care of it. But that's not where we headed at. It's just so frustrating to watch the Marxist Democrats do what they're doing. The debt ceiling fight that I'm watching right now is absolutely ludicrous to think that we're going to spin our way to prosperity. Folks, I had a buddy of mine tell me. He said, hey, Moon, he said, I asked my mama, he's older than me, he's in his 70s. He said, I asked my mama one day, he said, Mom, who lived through the Great Depression. She said, when did y'all know you were going to go through a depression? When did you know you were in a depression? And she said, the day we woke up. That's how it's going to hit us. I'm not a doom and gloomer. You got to have fundamentals in finances. You got to have fundamentals in your finances at home. You got to have fundamentals in your finances as a country. Okay? When you see inflation skyrocketing, and that's what we're seeing right now, and it's probably going to get worse, and I hate to say that, America needs a wake-up call. The problem is I don't know how bad of a wake-up call that I want, because if it goes into a Great Depression, that kind of wake-up call is scary. especially with our government today where they want to take everything over. What's the wake-up call? When are people going to wake up and go, you know what, this is not the way we ought to be doing this? And the Democrats are putting gender down our throat, abortion down our throat. I mean, everything they're doing is to control your life. Everything they're doing is almost un-American. It's definitely ungodly, but it becomes un-American. And that's the part that bothers me. When are we going to wake up? When do we look up and say, you know what? The crazy got to stop. You got to have fundamentals in your economics. You got to have fundamentals in your value system. What is our value system now? What is it? I can tell you right now, the breakup of the home is the biggest problem we have in the United States of America. It's where the crime problem comes in. Okay? It's no doubt about that. It's where our school system fails because they're having to deal with people that are coming from homes and they're totally smashed. This is where we're getting most of the stuff that we get. It's why people believe in climate change. They're looking for something to believe in. We have a system. The system was really good. And now all of a sudden the system is not good anymore. We're broke. We're a broke country right now. I don't know what it's going to take for people on the left that think they're voting for the old Democrat Party to wake up and say enough of that, enough of crazy. And this is where we're at now. We are in total crazy land with where the country is. Why do we want to live in crazy land? I don't want to live in crazy land. You shouldn't either. But we're being told stuff 2,000 years later. I don't care if it's gender, or marriage, or finances, whatever it is, crime, the way we deal with our money, totally different than it was many, many years ago. Our country's only, 250 years old, 260 years old? It's not that old. We're one of the youngest countries in the world. We're the freest country in the world. And everything now is to clamp down. The Green New Deal, which I've talked about many times, that will be the death nail for the United States of America if we try to do this all electric crazy. It's going to be the death nail. Financially, morally, and everything else, I still believe that's communism. I do. I still think that's 100%. But this is all Democrat, Marxist Democrats. That's all they're doing to the United States of America. And it's a shame. It doesn't have to be that way. My question to y'all is, when do we fight back? I didn't say go to war. I said, when do we fight back? I think it's a legitimate question. When are we going to stop this? When are we going to get help from our friends that think they just the old liberals come on this side and say, you know, that those people are crazy. We need to go against the crazies. Anyway, my name is Moon Griffon. Make sure you subscribe. Tell a friend about us. We'd love to bring you back. We got great guests coming up in the future, and we can talk more about that later. But subscribe, Moon Griffon Podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure you subscribe. Check us out. Don't forget, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com, moon@moongriffon.com. We appreciate it. God bless. See you next time.